swing in Detroit on the second night of a back-to-back. And we're not really sure.
So both head coaches have gone back, and you see the teams heading back to the locker room. The officials now going over to the scores table.
As soon as they announced it, the entire stadium was like, boo. They were so mad.
I think he's all right. I think it's just, I don't know, he's scared to play OKC.
Man, I hope that ain't the coronavirus. And I asked one of the deputy right there, he said that was somebody was sick. I said, oh, man.
It's completely understandable. The player safety is definitely utmost importance. I can't be upset over them canceling a game like that. I mean, this is a severe crisis.
I think I'll meet y'all over there.
Abundance of caution and at the direction of the National Basketball Association, tonight's game has been postponed. We do ask that you please exercise caution when departing the arena. We do thank you. Please check kings.com for more information and updates.
They have the option to be tested. There's not any mandatory testing going on, but they've provided, doctors to be at our facility and do temperature testing and things like that. But no one in our group that I'm aware of has any symptoms or anything like that.
Sorry, guys. Have a good night, everybody.
Told to leave. We had already got our seats and had our popcorn and was ready to enjoy the game.
And once everybody's already in the arena, it doesn't seem to make sense because if we're exposed, we've already been exposed.
Then that's where the hiatus will start. You could see right here the reaction from Mark Cuban when he got the news looking at his phone. And then he went and started to discuss it with members of the Mavericks organization on their bench.
He also alerted the officials that are in charge of this game.
Well, obviously very concerned, but it's not necessarily about basketball. Obviously, this is much bigger than basketball. I'm concerned about, will my kids have school or not? I'm concerned, are we all doing the right thing? Because this is obviously new territory. This is certainly a black swan event in my experiences. And so, basketball actually becomes secondary. But in terms of basketball, as I said earlier, nobody at the Dallas Mavericks is an expert on infectious diseases or their spread. And so this is not a situation where you fake it till you make it or try to sound or act important. The NBA has hired people with expertise in those areas, and they're working with people from the government and other expert areas, other people with expertise. And so we have to defer to them, and that's exactly what we'll do. And, If the NBA, effectively, if one player, two players, whatever it is, already have it, we'll have to act accordingly, and I think the NBA made the right decision.
There's a Board of Governors meeting today, obviously. It was before all the info about Utah was out there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was reported, some owners, most of the owners were in favor of playing games without fans. Some of them were interested in completely postponing the season. Where did you fall on that issue?
I fall just in the exact place that I told you. I don't have the expertise at all, and I'm not in a position, when it's something this critical, when people's health and the safety of our fans and customers is at stake, I didn't have an opinion. And we said that effectively we'll go with what the NBA says because, I'm smart enough to know what I don't know, and I'll defer to those who do.
Mark, this evening on ESPN, you mentioned something about your concern for some of the employees, the part-time people that work here. Could you reiterate that?
Yeah. In talking to when some of the things were coming up that we might not play games, and this was yesterday, I reached out to the folks at the arena and our folks at the Mavs to find out, what it would cost to financially support people who aren't going to be able to come to work. They get paid by the hour, and this was their source of income. And so we'll do some things there. We may ask them to go do some volunteer work in exchange, but we've already started the process of having a program in place, and I don't have any details to give, but it's certainly something that's important to me.
This has all transpired so rapidly. What are your feelings right now?
I mean, when I heard Michael Finley saw the announcement, and I was just stunned. I mean, it was just like, I have this saying, life is half random, and this is the random side, where it takes twists and turns, and this is something out of a movie, and you just don't expect it to happen in real life, but that's the randomness of the world we live in. And so it's stunning, but we are where we are, and we have to be smart in how we respond. Again, as I just said, this is people's lives at stake. This isn't about basketball. This isn't about the Mavericks. This isn't about, when do we start, or do we start, or how do we start. This is a pandemic, a global pandemic, where people's lives are at stake, and I'm a lot more worried about my kids and my mom, who's 82 years old, and talking to her and telling her to stay in the house, than I am about when we play our next game. Look, we have a lot of flexibility. I don't want to speak for Adam or the NBA, but in terms of the NBA basketball side of this, we have a lot of flexibility because there's nothing that happens after June 12th when we typically end our season. So, it's more important for us to get it right.